need to know about their product. Okay? And at that time, I'm then going to open it up for questions from the audience. You guys, we brought these people here from all over the U.S., so make sure you ask questions now while they're here. This is why we brought them here, okay? If you don't have questions immediately, I have some prepared questions, and then I might just pick on some people in the audience because I'm really good at doing that. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and the first person, we're going to start from left to right, my left to right, and then we'll go the opposite way on the other question, okay? So why don't we start with you?
Perfect. Thanks, Colleen. My name is Todd Bob, the Director of Sales and Marketing from Roush Performance, based in Livonia, Michigan. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the company Roush, but we've been around for about 40 years. Started building engines and powertrains for Ford Motor Company. We're involved in racing, we're involved in retail, selling high-performance Mustangs. And 3 years ago, we were approached by PERC, the Propane and Education Research Council, to develop a variety of propane products for engines that Ford makes. So we started about 3 years ago developing a liquid propane injection system for the Ford F-150. Since then, we've started developing the F-250, F-350. We're working on the E-150, E-250. We've got other products coming over the next 12 to 18 months. Very excited to be here and look forward to hearing some questions from you guys later on.
Great.
I'm Ron Lamberty. I'm Market Development Director for the American Coalition for Ethanol. My background is basically in the petroleum industry to start out with. I've run gas stations for FINA and been a distributor of petroleum products and ethanol for many years. I installed the first retail E85 pump in the nation in Sioux Falls, South Dakota about 18 years ago, and worked on one of the first tests ever of soy biodiesel with the Sioux Falls, South Dakota buses. Primarily what I do for ACE is work with petroleum marketers, telling them what they need to do and what they don't need to do in order to add ethanol as either as E10 or E85, and work on opening markets for ethanol across the country. And I will say that, as I mentioned, I'm from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and a lot of people say I'm glad to be here. It's snowing in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and let me just say I'm glad to be here.
Great.
My name is Rich Cologe. I'm president of NGV America. We're the National Trade Association for Natural Gas Vehicles and vehicles that run on biomethane. We're located in Washington, D.C., and we do all things we need to do to support the industry, lobbying, working with the executive branch agencies, marketing, communications, website, things like that. I'm also president of the International Association of Natural Gas Vehicles, headquartered in New Zealand, and as such, traveling around the world now making speeches and telling everyone what I'm about to tell you about natural gas vehicles.
Great.
Hi, I'm Margo Melendez, and I am a project leader at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory, NREL, not Enron, is a national lab mostly supported by the U.S. Department of Energy, and we do lots of R&D on a whole array of renewable energy technologies from wind and solar and geothermal. And I, in particular, work in the transportation group on the Clean Cities program. Clean Cities is an organization of 100 coalitions across the country. Okay, I take a little bit of liberty because I think there's only 91. Nearly 100 coalitions across the country. Tucson is one, and Colleen is the coordinator of that coalition here in Tucson. And basically what we try to do is support these local champions and these local coordinators in all these different communities across the country to implement projects that get people to use less petroleum in their transportation every day. So that could be through driving alternative fuel vehicles, through driving hybrid vehicles, through getting out of your cars and walking or taking a bike or taking public transportation. And that is sort of our big focus, and we support the 90 coalitions across the country in that.
Great.
Hi, my name is Laura Moreno. I'm with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in Region 9, which is California, Nevada, Arizona, Hawaii, Guam, American Samoa, and some other Pacific Islands. I'm a life scientist in the waste division, and I focus on organics recycling, so that's food waste, various things like that, but I also look at anaerobic digestion, which creates biomethane, and I look at biogas. I have colleagues who work on anything from biodiesel to ethanol to natural gas. So there's a lot of people in the EPA working on alternative fuels.
Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to give each of you 4 minutes to tell us the most important thing you want these guys to know about either what you do, who you represent, or any product. You guys don't have a product.
When you start with
These
the
guys-
government people, we don't have any product.
That's the most important thing you want people to know about what you do.
Okay, so I think it's important to let you guys know that the EPA, we don't just do rules and regulations, though we do have those as well. We do permit and fine people. But we also have voluntary programs where we create public and private partnerships, and one that we'll probably talk about today is the West Coast Collaborative, which is a public-private partnership that gets millions of dollars to reduce diesel emissions on the West Coast, Arizona being one of the major states in that coalition. And we also have grant programs and contracts to give state and local governments as well as nonprofits money in order to push forward the markets for alternative fuels as well as other issues. We also do a lot of consumer education. Our website has a lot of information on various statewide, nationwide programs. Basically, I just, to elaborate a little on the West Coast Collaborative, which is one of our really big things, I just want to, talk about the fact that it is a public-private partnership funded by the nation, and it gets around $42 million in 2008, I believe. There's over 1,000 partners, including Canada and Mexico. And in the south of Arizona, we are doing, in Ambos Nogales, we have biodiesel projects. We have projects to stop idling for both school buses and trucks. And we also focus on freight, ports, and agriculture. So I think that's about it.
Great. Thank you. Gosh, that was... Sure, we got plenty more time for you. Okay. Go ahead, Margo.
That's because I said the government doesn't have any products.
I see. Okay. These guys will happily take your time. No, I'm just kidding.
I know that. I guess Laura sort of talked about grants, so I think one thing I guess I will mention is that the Clean Cities program under the stimulus package just got a huge chunk of money, $300 million, for grants to go to projects that will basically reduce the amount of petroleum consumed in the transportation sector. So this could be projects to install infrastructure, big depots, blending terminals, all those types of things. And we'll be taking applications for those, and I think that application process closes in May. One thing I think that is also of particular interest to more of a public audience is we host a website called the Alternative Fuels and Advanced Vehicle Data Center. And I have a few cards, so I'll bring them out after the end of the presentation so you can come up and get them. But the AFTC, which is what we call Alternative Fuels and Advanced Vehicle Data Center, was started almost 15 years ago, maybe a little over 15 years ago at this point. And it initially was to try to assist fleets who are trying to do the right thing with their transportation using alternative fuels, in helping them make decisions on what they should do for their fleets. Now, since the advent of biodiesel and ethanol and some light-duty natural gas vehicles, what we are doing is trying to have more of a consumer focus as well. So we have lots of different tools on there that can help you decide, out of all these different vehicles that are available, which one is most right for me, which one would work in my lifestyle and my situation. Or I'm considering buying an ethanol vehicle, where are the refueling stations that are closest to me? Or I drive to grandma's house lots of times. Can I get from my house to grandma's house using E85 or biodiesel? So we have a lot of tools that are really geared towards helping consumers be able to make the right decision by having the information at their fingertips on those choices. So I'll have a couple cards up here with that information on it afterwards.
Great. And I'm actually going to take a minute of you guys' time. I didn't do
That's
this
great.
just to say our coalition does work very closely with EPA on the Albus Nogales program, as well as truck stop electrification and other things. And I can't say enough about the public-private partnership between EPA and coalitions like ours and what you guys do for us. So I just want to personally thank you guys for all the work that you do for us. And NREL as well. I mean, they're here, your tax dollars pay for them to do this for you guys. So use this service. It's this amazing service, and I can't say enough about them as well. So.